Hello everyone, welcome to Relax God TV. So today we are live at the residence of Professor KUNLE OLOWU, a retired medical doctor, lecturer. He's a professor, as I said earlier. He's a retired medical doctor, lecturer, consultant. So we are live at his residence to talk to him on some national and international issues. Stay with us as we take you through the interview.
I'm a Nigerian. I'm from ASUU State. I'm Ijesha. And I've practiced medicine for a couple of years, since 1974. And I left Afebabalola last year, June, as the chief, provost of the College of Medicine. Since I left Afebabalola, I've been in Ibadan.
So can you let us into your medical background, sir? Like your journey as a medical doctor?
That's a long way. If we start on that, we won't finish it tomorrow.
Let's start from somewhere.
I did higher school. After secondary school, I was at ASUU for higher school. My secondary school was Ibadan Boys School. And presently, I'm the national president of the Old Boys of Ibadan Boys School. That's one school that has provided 2 governors for this state, late Kolapo Shola and Rashid Ladoja. And we have so many prominent Nigerians who are Old Boys of Ibadan Boys School. After that, I had a federal scholarship to go abroad in 1967 to study medicine. I was in Moscow and I spent 7 years. After that, I came back home. Because that time when you are federal government scholarship, you must return home. I was given a job at UCH while still abroad. The moment I communicated my results and the application, I got a job and I resumed at UCH. And I'm always happy to refer to the car loan we got within 1 week or 2 weeks, 1,800, and we bought brand new cars, 1,800 naira. After that, I went to Johns Hopkins in the United States for my postgraduate. I came back from Johns Hopkins to join Oyo State because I was sponsored by Oyo State of old, before the other states were created. Yeah. So, I've been in UCH. I worked in UCA, I worked at Lautech, I worked at Niger Delta University for 8 good years, and came back. I joined Afebabalola, and I left Afebabalola last year, June. And I live in my house, and I'm not tired.
Wow.
I've had 2 appointments, short appointments from NUC, accreditation to, what's the name of the Owerri, and then the second one from Medical Council, accreditation to LASU, Lagos State College of Medicine. So,
that's awesome, sir. So, like, for how many years did you practice medical? Do you work as a medical practitioner before you start working with universities?
No, anywhere you work as a doctor, you are still a doctor. Okay. You are always appointed as a lecturer and consultant. Okay. The lecturer, you train medical students. As a consultant, you go to clinics, you prescribe, you look at patients, and you take care of patients. Okay. It's a combined job.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's good. So
once you are in clinical medicine,
you combine lecturing and
being a consultant. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, sir. So you made mention of something the other time that you you were giving federal government scholarship.
Yes.
That is awesome, sir. But nowadays there is nothing like a federal government scholarship, even state government scholarship again. You seem to enjoy the scholarship back then, but we didn't see anything.
You are taking me up on that.
What can you say about that, sir?
I will tell you, you have federal government scholarship.
Okay.
All federal universities, there's no tuition. What kind of scholarship are you still looking for? You probably will live in your own country. You don't go into minus 40, minus 50 degrees centigrade. You enjoy eating the good foods you are used to. And your parents don't pay tuition. Unfortunately, it has brought us into this problem of ASUU. And if anybody wants to know my opinion about ASUU and how it can be solved, maybe in the process of this interview, I'll let you into my opinion. But federal government has taken far more than what they can chew. At least if you ask them to pay something every family can afford, you can't say somebody should go to UI. Everything in a year, the payment is about 70,000. You try private investors, you're talking of millions. I mean, which means if they want to settle ASUU, they must be bold and responsible enough to adjust what they were practicing before. Let some money come in. Let the money students will pay be responsible for 30 or 40% of monthly salary. But if federal government wants to pay all the salary, they want to
free education.
Free education to that level is wahala.
I guess that will take us into the question I prepared as regard ASUU strike. Do you support this ASUU strike, sir?
That's a big one. I don't have any child, but I have grandchildren who are in school. ASUU strike is not fair. But ASUU has not been able to carry people along because it appears as if many people think ASUU is going too far. They've not been treated well. If I can tell you that ASUU, they have not treated them well. If ASUU as a body, if they decide enough is enough, we will go to Ghana and take half of what you are supposed to pay us, but we want to see how you will cope. They made a mistake with young doctors. They are no longer here. Someday, people will go on downfall to Cotonou to treat malaria. When you don't have any doctors around. They are all in Canada, Australia, America, UK. So if ASUU can move out of the country so that you don't talk about them again, all these so-called politicians whose children are in, and they have the guts, the effrontery, to put the graduation photograph in newspaper. So and so minister has gone to Buckingham University for the graduation of the son or daughter. When you ruined your own educational institutions and you have created for yourself an alternative, it's not fair. I think I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. So what do you think ASUU can actually do? Do you see ASUU actually winning this battle with federal government? Because the last time we went for press brief organized by ASUU, they made us to understand that federal government is lying. They have not met half of their demands. And it seems federal government is actually growing a kind of thick body to their demand. Do you see them winning this?
They will win when we have a reasonable president who is educated, not a president without school cert. You can't give what you don't have. If you are properly educated, properly exposed, you will appreciate the importance of education. But for somebody who got a waiver to enter into the army, to do this, to do that, he became a major general, he became every general, he became a president, he doesn't seem to care. And he's surrounding himself with people whose children are also abroad. But for as long as ASUU can let the people know where they stand, ASUU should not be condemned. When a new government, not the one unpicked by the present president, because he will pick somebody like himself. If we have a proper election and we have somebody who has good appreciation of knowledge, ASUU will be. They may not get all the solution overnight, but they will dialogue with them with honesty. Why will you dialogue with people you agree and you fail to carry out all the agreements? That's irresponsible of any government. So ASUU should not be condemned. It's unfortunate they have been given a bad name.
Yes. People are actually saying everything they are doing is for their self, for their pockets and the likes. No. It seems they've actually given them a bad name.
It's unfortunate.
Yes.
But as we get on, people will get to understand. Very soon students will be talking on behalf of ASUU. If I were a member of ASUU, I would say it's high time we took a stand. We are not going to talk. Let our students who are sitting at home. Parents must be very accommodating now. I can imagine if I have two or three sons or daughters at home, whatever complaints they come up with, I will say, okay, I will do my best. I won't turn to them. Where do you want them to go? ASUU has taken them out of university, or federal government has taken them out of university. They are in your house as their father. Meet their needs to the best of your opportunity and try and touch their psyche. Give them sermons, not church sermon now. Give them psychological packaging. That, look, you will soon leave this stage, and if by chance any of you comes into government, you must remember what I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. I got 1,800. I bought a brand new car. Tell me what 1,800 can buy now.
It is not enough
for lunch.
For lunch. So, what do you think can be done to revive the educational system in this country?
That's a big question. We have to dialogue with students, because we are still enjoying peace. The day the students, I was telling my wife yesterday, I said the day all the students come together from all parts of Nigeria, I said, our mumu don't do. You can't pay somebody 39 million per month. Senators, some of them are stark illiterates. As a professor of medicine, I never had that kind of salary. 39 million, what are they doing? So when you look at it, the only way out is to dialogue with the students, convince them to sheath their swords. The day they decide to say you don't do, that's the day we shall know that we can't take them for a ride. But they are all carrying their cross and they are keeping quiet. They are not enjoying it. Okay. So many of our students, 2,000 from between this Russian and...
I have a question.
What's that?
Ukraine and Russia.
Ukraine. So many of them. I know some parents who needed my letters of recommendation and so on when their children were going to Ukraine and Russia. And when you look at it, where are we going? Ukraine is not happy that they've lost all these students. These students, some of them, there was a lady they interviewed, maybe we saw it together. She said, I'm a final year medical student. I'm going nowhere. This thing will soon pass off, and I will sit for my final exam. Tell me how many months now? I hope she's still alive.
So what advice will you give to federal government as regards this education issue? We are far behind.
I will have no advice for this present federal government. Okay. I don't talk to the deaf and dumb. It's a waste of your energy. They don't have their compasses right. Your president does not know what he's doing. And if you were a man of conscience, he should resign. That's not a president befitting this country, at least befitting the southwestern part of this country. We have come in contact with education for so long. We were the first in this country to make education available to the poor and the rich. So many of us benefited from Awolowo's fantastic idea, free education. You will have no peace if people are illiterate. Look at what is happening in the north. They caused all these things. If you wanted to snatch a government and you brought in so many colorless people from other countries, about 7,000 of them, and the guy, reasonable guy, thank God yesterday he escaped a terrible accident. He said, my life is not worth, my political ambition is not worth anybody dying for. Take it. He didn't lose that election. That's the argument around now. But he was so much of a gentleman. I worked in Bayelsa. We were in the same Rotary Club. I know Jonathan very well. He's not a man given to all this gra-gra. I won't talk to this government. Just pray and tolerate them to get the hell out of the way. And pray that we get a better government. Somebody said all these people who are trying to be president should be in jail. I may agree partially, because at the end of the day, not all of them are qualified. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to be president. I won't be surprised if my gate man tomorrow decides to take it. Don't know. He will tell you he wants to be president. What does it take to be president? So don't waste your time talking to this government. Let's tolerate them. Let's ease them out of power and make sure we don't make this kind of mistake again.
So you made mention of Ukraine and Russia the other time. I actually have a question on that. Some students that went to study in Ukraine, the Nigerian government actually went to evacuate them. And some people were like, no, they're not supposed to come back to this country. What did they come to do? They're supposed to go and look for somewhere to stay. They're supposed to go and look for somewhere to hide. What can you say about that?
Government did a good job. I'm not the type that will blindly condemn everything. For that alone, that was a good job. And that Nigerian, the owner of this airline, what's his name? Airpeace, yeah, he did well. Because nobody knew where this thing was going. And for us to fold our arms, Ghana evacuated our children, so many countries. We did well. If there's a mark to be given, I'll give 6/10. At least once. No, my marks are not given cheaply. You can't get more than that. But at least if you want verbal acclamation, I will tell you did well. But I don't think it was the person who took that decision. Abike Dabiri must have played a role, and some other people with good cerebral content.
So those students that came back now, it seems they even came and met ASUU Strike and everything as it is. What do you think they can do? Because coming back alone, I guess it's going to be traumatic for them.
I have a family in Lekki. They've been talking to me, trying to get their daughter, who was a medical student in Ukraine, to enter Afe Babalola. Because you can only go to private universities.
Yes.
What I would say is they should be prayerful. That all these things should be over. The madness of Biden and some other European heads of state messing up this problem. Two brothers fighting. If you can't make peace between them, don't put unnecessary
salt and pepper.
Pepper into it. Yes, I speak Russian fluently ever since I left. My Russian language is as good as my English language, and I knew so many Ukrainians who are my lecturers. I still have a lot of feelings for them. Of course, I'll be on the side of Russia. I'll be on the side of Russia. I'm for Putin. And those who are wishing Putin dead, they are kidding. They are not God. I won't be surprised if Biden goes before Putin. I won't be surprised. It's not healthy. He's carrying so much of emotional load. Huh? How many people have died on his side? How many people are left? Putin has a bad case, and he's doing the best he can do. You can't open your eyes and allow some people to come next door and plant their enmity so close. You can't sleep. Poland is already in NATO. Romania is in NATO. Name it. And then Ukraine, if let's say they put in Ibadan, you say you are from Ibadan, the biggest nuclear station in Ibadan, and then there's trouble between your state. I'm from Osun. If we decide that there will be no powerful nuclear something anywhere, we will neutralize it. It's cowardice that says, oh, my religion does not allow, but who says? You do whatever you need to do and go and beg God to forgive you. Come up here.
But as regards that Ukraine and Russia issue, a lot of people actually blaming Russia that they're not supposed to attack Ukraine, they're not supposed to do this.
You want my opinion?
Yes, sir.
If, let's say, I was born here, the only good language, dialect I know is Ibadan. I can beat any Ibadan to spoken Ibadan dialect because I didn't go to school to learn it. I spoke Ibadan from infancy, naturally. Now, if let's say we are all together and for one reason or the other we are splitting, let us be sensitive about some aspects. We should try not to allow enemies. Russia can never be comfortable if they are surrounded by all NATO members. Someday they will come. I read now that they brought down about 6 or 8 Russian planes. I know fully well it's not Ukrainians that are doing it. The so-called NATO have penetrated. Look, don't bring your enemy to a fight between you and your siblings. Yes, even couples, if they are reasonable, when they take their matter either to the family of the wife, if they start talking, if that wife has brains, she should be the person to say, my darling, we are going home to settle our problem. I don't like what these my people have been saying. At the end of my uncle or my auntie, what they are saying will not help us. Why did we bring our matter to this place? That's the problem. I think there will be peace. And if we are not careful, we can provoke a third world war. Then everybody will realize that when the mad people are dancing, you don't clap for them. You don't clap for them. Let them enter into prayers that the Lord will make their legs too big to move so that the dancing will come to a halt. So as much as possible, everybody talking should be mindful of a possible third world war. Those who are too young to know what was third world, what was world war, let them go and read the literature. Britain has not done well. Why would you take the properties of all these Russians, Abramovich and so on? Abramovich was able to land his plane in Israel. He's an Israeli. All these so-called Russians, Ukrainians, and so on, most of them are Israelis. Have you heard anything from Israel about this one? No way. No. And if they want to bring Biden to his senses, there's no way. If Israel says enough is enough, yes. We don't want to hear anything from you about this war. So as much as possible, the Nigerian press, they have not done enough. They are just following follow what they are saying in other journals. I'm for Putin, and nothing will happen to him. He's fighting a just cause. I will only say, when you fight your brother, don't use heavy weapons. You can box your brother on the nose, but don't go taking kitchen knife, waiting. What do you want to achieve? You can slap. That same hand you've employed in slapping can be the hand you use to embrace when peace has come to stay. There must be peace in Ukraine and Russia. Russia cannot allow Ukraine to join either European Union or NATO. They are even saying they can join European Union. No, I would say no. European Union will not have Ukraine. They can have all the other ones. You want to put Russia into a very difficult situation? I got to Russia as a young boy, 20-year-old, many years ago. I'm 75 plus now. And I'm telling you, I still have my support for Russia. These are people who were genuine. There was no scholarship as detailed as Russian scholarship. I will tell you, the moment you arrived, we were taken to shops to take our winter suits, winter coat, winter gloves, everything. Our parents were not in any way put in, mommy, it's very cold. No. You are made to understand what you are coming into. And you are made to recognize that don't play with your breakfast. You must have enough food in your stomach. Because the temperature is, two women, they are both professors today. They were going to school, the temperature was minus 50. One was crying, and the one that was not crying, the one that was crying was trying to see whether she could get succor from her sister. She looked at it. You cover everything with the cap, and she saw and once your tears come on it becomes ice flake. Because the temperature outside is minus. So it's like ice flakes on there. So you can't hide the fact that you are crying. How come ice blocks are forming on your face? So when you look at this, they didn't tie any strings to us. The scholarships were free. You could leave that place and go out and say anything you like about them. But then if you are a good human being, if you have fear of God, and if your education is complete and you have chosen to make the best use of your education, you will be balanced in your outlook. Wow. When we had our war, how many countries supported Nigeria? It was only Russia. So some people are saying Nigeria should. What can you say? Did you pay for all the assistance they gave to us? So for God's sake, some of us are not ingrates.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yes, it pays not to allow this to come to pass. No matter what initial problems some of them may have, they will tell you it's better than Nigeria. They are seeing the bright color in the tunnels. Bright color in the tunnels of their tomorrow. But here, what do you say? You can't go by road to Lagos. You can't go by train. You can't go by air. Where are you going? So you must just have, if possible, everything within your compound. I came home today. They cut the vegetable. I'm going to plant vegetable. Because they say second down. No, it's there. Go and plant so that we can be self-sufficient
within our reach.
Within our reach. And you say you don't want us to restructure. We are not the same people. We are not this. Our values are different. I won't send my children out of the house. Some people do that. What's the meaning of Almajiri? When you suddenly send your sons outside because maybe you've taken a young wife and you don't want them to go near them. We are the value system. You don't send them to school. You don't care for them. You don't form their values. Some of us will be so grateful to our parents. Before you go, you see my parents in 1924. I'm so proud of them. I didn't go out to learn how to tie because I was going to church as a small boy with tie. So when you look at it, you can't compare us. If you are a people given to this kind of just collecting money, what do you have to show for it? If you don't have education, you don't have good health, what is it you have? And yet you want to control this country. The blind can never lead those who have two eyes, especially fortified with eyeglasses, making fall. So let's face it, we are tired. The country must be restructured. We may give ourselves entrance without visa, but for God's sake, let's go by different names. I'm happy to tell you that what Professor Akintoye, Emeritus, Professor of History, is doing is to show you how decent, how civilized education can place you. We are not fighting anybody. We've gone to the right place, United Nations, to file our paper for Yoruba Nation, which means we know the way to do it. It's not just guerrilla warfare. If you really want to go, we have a place at UN. We are represented at United Nations. And they know that someday, if the worst comes to the worst, they will come and carry out plebiscite. And when they discover that majority of Yorubas want to go, off we go.
Sir, do you support Yoruba Nation?
Why won't I? We don't belong to this contraption you call Nigeria. We don't. We believe all this national, what do you call your song? What's the name? The Nigerian song. A national anthem. It doesn't apply to all of us. Very soon, some of us will put our hands in pocket when you are singing national anthems. Of course, just to show you that we are not part of you.
Do you think the Southwest, we have what it takes to sustain a Yoruba nation?
We have the intellect, which is so important. When the person leading you has no brain, it can only lead you into prediction, referring to Awolowo's language. It can only lead you into Wahala. We have educated people.
Yes.
And we can say, look, I looked at my phone yesterday. A church woman, did I send it to you? At Ekiti, selling lunch for 100 naira. I will show you before you go. With eba and meat and sachet water, 100 naira. What was my comment? I said, this is social welfare,
Yes.
and this should be done by government. I lived in the US. On Fridays, those who are not working, they take the biggest cars to go and collect their money. You call it Owo Baba. Yes, and the cars they like are not small cars. They like the old American. You know what they do? They collect those engines, they clean them, they tune them up, they sell them in shops, wrapped. They look like brand new. They've been refurbished. And you don't have to pay everything. If it is 5,000, if you put $50, now you carry it go. So that they continue their life. You can eat four steps lunch. Let them eat their own burger. But here we don't care about the poor.
Yes.
At times, some of us will have to go and hide in the restroom to eat. I was telling her, I said yesterday I had my breakfast on this table. I regretted it. Because
Why?
all those who came, the plate was full. I had my cutlery, I had yam, I had sausage, I had egg, I had water, I had coffee, and I had yogurt. Come off it. You will know that it's a bourgeoisie. But for God's sake, I didn't steal anybody's money. I've worked for my money, but conscience does not make me feel comfortable when the people came.
Wow.
They were looking at my plate. But I quickly finish up so that I would destroy the evidence.
This is well with us, sir. Sir, are you interested in politics?
I prefer armchair politics. What do you mean? Let's sit down like this and talk about politics. No way. I can't go and get insulted. One year governor wanted me to be his commissioner. I was in Bayelsa. I filled the form, what he wanted. He saw me in the house of a cousin who was an ambassador, retired ambassador. And when we were talking, he said he's interested. I looked at him, he had a kind of goatee that looks like that. I keep some goats over there. And I was asking myself, can I work with a character like this? You want to remove that?
No. I'm not. I'm checking.
And later I heard from people that he said he could not work with anybody, he could not call by his first name. I'm much older than him, I'm more educated than him. Huh?
So that means we will be calling you your first name.
Be that. I will tell him they don't teach you for home. I'm probably older than the most senior person in your family. You can't call me by name, all because you want to work. So when he did not offer the work, people said they knew I could never work with them. Somebody changed all the uniform for the whole state to another color. That won't be human being. Those are the politicians you want you to work with. I'm more cerebral. If anybody commits an offense, how do you know the school he comes from? And later, a reasonable man came on the throne and adjusted everything. Changed the names of school. School attended by Jack Conde, Alpha Begori, they call it Elisha Grammar School. You change the name to another. Come off it. So those are the kind of politicians I work with. Let me be my politician inside. We talk together. When friends come, we talk, and we finish it with a good one. I go in JJ.
Okay. So you said you prefer discussing about politics.
Armchair.
Like armchair politics. So how will you describe the kind of politics being played in Nigeria?
It's clear. You know the answer. How will you buy form 40 million?
I penned down a question on that. Why call me?
Go tell me. If I have 40 million, why do I have to go and start? Where will I get 40 million to buy form? Where? So we are deceiving ourselves. They are taking us for a Fayose bought his own form again. When you look, and the son made it public, say, Daddy, don't join anybody to contest for presidency. It is now a game. Yes, everybody wants to be president. Could possible. Momodu wants to be president. And you want to not...
Yaya Bello.
Yaya Bello. What does he have to offer?
He also wants to become the president.
So as much as possible, I listen to Adeboye. Adeboye keeps saying that God has not shown him.
Yes.
The day Adeboye speaks that, so I said he's not even sure we are going to have an election. I buy that. If the train from Abuja
To
to Kaduna
Kaduna.
can be messed up like that. How long is Kaduna to Abuja? Flight,
Neighboring,
could it be more? Could it be up to 1 hour?
states.
I
It's
think
not
it
up
should
to
be
1 hour.
at all. So then you want me to go on? I know I've gone on Ibadan to Lagos 3 times. I sit in the VIP, and that was where they targeted. So when you look at it, I don't think we know where we are going.
There's this adage of not too young to rule that have been going on for now, like in politics. It seems they are encouraging youth to come. But when you look at the form price for House of Assembly, 2 million.
They should say
For
they
Senate,
shouldn't
20
pay.
million.
If
For
they are
governor,
serious.
30 million.
No, if you're a young man and you want to buy any of these tickets, state should let you pick it for free. Put my name for that. States should allow young ones to get these forms for free. So that you won't keep them away because of the price of the form.
Yes, it's too much.
Why
do they want them to see the money, sir?
No, that's why they are encouraging them to become Yahoo Yahoo. And when they step on their toes, they pick them up.
Wow.
Area is that you make people who came in with feeble minds, within a short time they become your colleagues. And when they want to over-celebrate you, you keep telling them, come, we are now colleagues. Say, no, sir, you are my teacher. I said, somebody was my teacher too. And when I was your teacher, I got paid. So don't give me all this worshipping. We are now colleagues. Now, if God used you to shape people's life, you must be humble enough to say, God, I thank you. Oh, if I let you read some of the comments from some colleagues during my last birthday, you realize that that's far more than the money. The politicians go home with millions. We go home with satisfaction that we have touched people's lives. And as much as possible, that's what God will want us to be. All these places I work, definitely a good many of the guys I knew, I may not recognize them. But they will recognize you. And they will visit you with so much respect and adulation and adoration. You have to just tell them, hey, relax. You are singing too much of praises. What is it? I got paid when I was teaching you. It wasn't free of charge. You are no longer my student. You are my colleague. Say, no, forever we are just. I said, okay, be deceiving yourself. At the end of the day, they put doctor in front of my name. They put in front of your name. And if you work hard enough, you become a professor too. So if you are writing your memoirs, you can give me just one sentence as one of those who shaped your values and who contributed to your life. So that's the joy of being a teacher. Because some people contributed to your molding, and you've been able to retaliate using Idea means language by training some other people. And here we are, and we feel so bad about the time. It has flown so fast. If anybody tells me I came back almost 50 years ago to this country, here we are. And things were so good. I find it difficult to bypass somebody holding a stethoscope or somebody dressed as a lawyer walking on the street. I normally will ask the driver, park, where are you going? Because when I came, within a week or two, we got a loan. Call it 1,800, but he bought a brand new car. And it wasn't a Nigerian-made car. It was a good car. So why have we come this low? What has happened? The future was so bright then that we were telling some of our colleagues who were hanging abroad, come home. Everything was just there, but well.
Actually, a powerful interview session with Professor KUNLE OLOWU. It has been an awesome time with him. We actually had a great time with him, talking to him about national and international issues. And I believe we all learned one or two things from this interview session. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Realers World TV. Thank you. Bye.